Good evening, SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening, BSL, and good evening to all points in between. This is the November 16th, 2021 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. Glad that you decided to spend your Tuesday evening with us. And I am your host and moderator, Mr. Mike Walker. Glad to have you here. And we have an exciting show tonight. It's going to be an all men panel tonight. Yes, y'all been demanding it, and be careful, be careful for what you ask
What
for.
you asked for.
You definitely might get it though, and I think you will get it this night though. So, thank you so much, and let's start with the salutations right quick. We got a lot of ground to cover. Tamara, glad to see you. Hey Shay. The gospel source answer. Good to have you here. Jelly, glad to have you here. Kim, Jewel, Brother Kenneth, glad to have you here. Katie, Tiffany, Andrea, good to have you here. Stacy, Dora Ismail, glad to have you here. Brother Steve, Brenda, Teresa, Brother Michael, Rhonda, uh, Anita, Tawanda, Keisha, glad to have Keisha. I'm so sorry you laughing at me. Uh, Tamika, Stephanie, and we got a whole bunch of them. Kizzy, Lorraine, Tamika, Karen, uh, and Dawn speaking from the panel and everything. Okay, glad to have you all here though, and let's get started, shall we? As you can tell by tonight's topic, and I show it again. What is it? Do men change for the woman they want? Okay, you see that right there. Well, it was suggested to me by my, well, at least one of my producers, Tiffany Murphy, and I'm having a long talk with her later on, that it would be a great topic if it was a men panel. And I just said, you're right. And so, by the grace of God, we were able to get some faithful men of God. And I'm grateful for them for showing up on this panel tonight. And we're going to have a good discussion tonight. We got some good ones. So without further ado, we got everybody. And we got some good men. We got Nathan. We got Brother Ron, Dewan, Minister BL Foils, and Brother Marcus Wilbank. How y'all gentlemen doing today?
Wonderful,
Good,
wonderful.
good, good. Hanging loose there, Mike.
That's great. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, and brothers and sisters, this is Brother Ron's first time being on the panel, though. So y'all be nice to him, ladies. Okay, y'all be very nice to him. So
Please do.
I know how y'all act. So anyway, we're not gonna waste too much time. We're gonna get started though. And again, we're gonna go once again to the first topic. Before we go any further, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. Okay? Please do that. And here we go, folks. How I got to this topic this evening, I saw a meme posted by one of my friends on Facebook. And I found it very interesting. I'm going to post it to y'all right quick and read it to y'all. Um, I am so tired of y'all peddling that lie that men change for the woman they want.
Oh my
No,
God.
they do not. I
Mm.
know too many men who have fumbled women they love and want because they were not a decent human being at their core. They were not a decent human being at their core. Who is a man, who a man chooses to be is on him and him alone. I really want women to stop thinking they are the exception to the rule. However, that man treats everyone else consistently is how he will treat you. You are not special. You are not different. You are not going to make him a better man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A little hurt.
Mm-mm. Now,
Yeah.
and again, it's 6 males on this panel tonight. Now, what say you? You know what? I'll start off though, but I'm gonna say
Oh, yeah.
this. There have been times that I have changed. I will not lie. I have changed. But what are y'all responses to what this young lady said? Who'll take the floor first?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Men will adjust. If we have someone in our lives, we are choosing someone who, in effect, is going to make us better. That's the reason we're choosing her. There's some quality she has or something in her that we see. Not that she's making us over, not that she's in quote unquote improving us, but we're choosing someone who is going to be a benefit to us, just like we're going to benefit her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're not going to choose somebody we got to fix. We're not going to choose somebody who's going to bring us down. We're looking for somebody who is either on the same level we are or who is going to together bring us up. So yes, if that person's in our life, we're going to adjust. We're not going to lose ourselves. We're not going to become something that she wants. We're not going to become her image, but we're going to improve. Everybody should be improving in a relationship. If you're not, there's a problem somewhere.
Absolutely. And like you said, though, when we get together, we're supposed to complement each other.
Exactly.
Get together because, and again, speaking from my part, and I've been saying this for this past week and a half, the sister that I'm seeking, she's going to be a lifelong partner.
Right.
That's right.
And maybe there should be some changes though. But even though I do believe change comes from down within, maybe we can influence each other for the best.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. And for her to say, well, the way he treats everyone else, well, in some cases, that could be true. In some cases, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone else, any other brother?
Yeah, brother Mike. Listen, I'm the neophyte on this panel. I appreciate the invitation. Thank you so much for allowing me this privilege to just
Yes,
make
sir.
a small male contribution. I would say when we talk about change, we need to define what we're talking about when we're saying change.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like good brother Nathan just said, it may be an adjustment, it could be a modification, or it could be an accommodation. All of that, I think, can fall under the umbrella of what we would call change. And see, that has different degrees because sometimes what may be considered a change may really just be participation in finding common ground. When you're dating someone and trying to discover who they are, you may not necessarily be making a core change because we're going to be who we are. We can't get away from who the man is that we are. But we can extend ourselves graciously. We can extend ourselves in an effort to try to discover who someone is as we start matriculating who this person is. We may just extend ourselves just a little bit. And that may not be what we would call a long-term change. That may be just recreational, it may be social, and it may be just to, like I said, just to let this sister know that we do have an open door and willingness to let you in and discover who you are, as to see also if you are willing to let me in. So my change, what you would call change, has to be meticulous. It has to be gradual because people play games, people wear masks, and we have to use some discretion and patience. I think is a virtue. And I'm gonna say this in yield because I also believe that this depth or degree of our willingness to change has so much to do with our level of sincerity on getting to know this person.
Okay, now you mentioned, and then we'll get to Victor. You mentioned accommodation, and I found that interesting. How far does the well, how much do you accommodate? How far do you accommodate? Is
I
there a
have to.
certain is there a stopgap?
It's determined on the signals that I'm giving. Because if I'm giving off certain amount of signals, either vibrationally, verbally, or physically, I'm looking for a response. If I'm not getting what I feel is a comfortable response, then I'm just going to mediate how far I go with my accommodations. Because I am only willing to meet you as much as I feel like I'm being met.
Mm, okay, I heard that. VL.
I think the change is behaviors, and so behavior can um, it can be changed. It's a decision. It can be influenced by a lot of different factors that we all change, and so change is evolving and it can be progressive. And so a person can influence us, and it could be a motivating factor to make a change. I mean, Christ came into our lives and that made a difference for us. Or somebody spoke to us that made a difference. And so change can be, it's like the maintenance of the change could be different. You could change, something can initiate your change, but something else may help you maintain that change. And
Mm,
so there's a difference between changing my behavior and
Yeah.
changing my identity. And what
Mhm.
many times, and what this woman appears to be talking about, behavior should never define personhood. And
Hmm.
so, you know, some people subscribe to their behavior being their personhood. Just because someone lies doesn't make them a liar.
mm,
Because they lie on a chronic basis doesn't mean that they're a liar, because that's not their identity. That may be their behavior. And so, just like Jacob made some changes, we all can make changes. And so, it just depends. It's subjective, it's person to person. It depends on the mentality, the heart, that soulish stuff that takes place within us, as well as information that makes a difference. It talks about faith cometh by hearing. Whatever is
Mhm.
processed through us, so a man thinketh, so is he.
mm-hmm,
So it's like what's going within our soul that makes a difference.
mm-hmm. And then that makes me what you just said about change, and I think about what the young lady's saying, that how he treat others is the way you're gonna treat you. And again, every like the TV commercials say, results may vary. Okay, it might be a reason why. I hope y'all don't get mad at me for saying this. It's a reason why I might be cussing you out, as opposed to me being nice to this person over here, you
Mhm.
know, as opposed to me being benevolent to that person.
Mhm.
Everything is not just one size fit all attitude.
That's right.
Sometimes, not that saying that people control your personality or attitude, but just sometimes you have to adjust your attitude and your personality toward
Mhm.
certain people and toward others. Okay, but Dwan.
Um, do men change for the women they want? Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, if a woman uh has this certain lifestyle that they are accustomed to,
Mm,
they're going to present a lifestyle that's going to match that woman to get that woman. Now, does he have that lifestyle to keep up with that woman?
Mm.
Probably not. We don't know. But I think, yeah, certain men will change for the woman they want to get, and they want to the woman that they want. Um, Personally, you if you're a seasoned men like we are, because we're seasoned up in here.
Mhm.
Um, you may want to change to get that woman, but after a couple of weeks, your true personality comes out, and I think that woman saw the true personality of that man or whoever it was. It was like, wait a minute, That's not the man that I met when you took me down to Chili's to get some food and you paid for my dinner and everything. That wasn't the same man that you were a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I think they change, but yeah, I just lost my train of thought.
That's all right. That's all right. But you know, you just said something. You said adjust or adjustment right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something interesting. She's used to a certain lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, before you adjust, and see, look at Nathan. Before you adjust, you need to think though. Okay, she's used to this certain lifestyle, this certain level. You know, her modus vivendi. She's used to this. Can I keep up with this? Sure, I can fake it till I make it for a date or two, maybe three. But what about after that though? You know, then what happens? And then, you know, like we like to say, we try to disguise ourselves to put on this false face,
Right.
you know, that we present them with for the first few days, first month, first 2 months, first 3 months. But eventually, you know, the gig is up. Eventually, you're just going to have to say, look, this is who I am. You know, then she might bop you upside the head for her not telling you, you know, for you not telling her this sooner. So, and we back at square one, bro,
Right.
Marcus.
Yeah, and that's I believe that's called the honeymoon period.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where it's all sunlight, daisies, everything's, and you floating on cloud nine. But after a couple of weeks, a month, now you see the real face and you see what they really bring to the table.
Oh, we're gonna be talking about real faces later on in this broadcast. Okay, so bro, Will Banks, help us out here.
Oh, isn't this exciting so far, or what, gentlemen? But just to touch up on Mike, you just touched up on the honeymoon phase here. That's one of the latter stages of getting into a relationship here. That's the very first one that we get into when we go out fishing, we get the catch of the day. Okay. Or when the women go fishing, I mean, there are very few women that go fishing there, they get the catch of the day here. But just like the one also had touched up, it'd be all peaches and cream. You know, just when you get into, like, I don't know how many months into a relationship, like 5, 6 months, 7 months in the relationship, then we get a chance to adapt on things. We get a chance to adapt on how do I make myself better for the woman I love? How do I make sure my woman sees me for the type of man that I am here? And then we try so hard into doing that and to accomplish what we want to do into keeping our women in our lives here. But then when push comes to shove, rejection comes in. Rejection comes in at the drop of a dime, and we don't even know what causes the rejection there. So, do I think men change for the women they love? It depends. This is kind of a mixed bag. I want to say yes. I want to say no, but it all depends on the demeanor. On how people start the relationship off.
But let me ask you. Oh yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
You said 6 months. You said 6 months. That's a half a year.
But I don't know.
I
It
think
could be that. It could be that amount of time. Could be longer than that, up to a year. I'm not sure.
because I think
I can't put a number of months on it or
yeah,
X amount of years on it.
because I think the cat's out of the bag
The cat's out of the bag.
within that 90 days.
Mm,
And
At
then
least 90 days. At
yeah,
least.
that's
at least. Well, I'll go with 90 days. If you say 90 days, yeah, 90 days will be that considerable amount of time. But who's to say?
okay. Now let's read what some of the sisters says. Kathleen Graves. Maybe she is trying to help women stop thinking they can change a man.
That's a good
Usually
thought.
we tend to ignore the reality and fall in love with potential. Then end up disappointed when he does not change. Now, right there, now, fellas, and gentlemen, I'll ask y'all this question.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all been involved with someone who was trying to change you to what they wanted
Yeah,
you to be?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
What
what
happened right
happened?
there?
How bad did it end? Or you know,
How much time we got?
okay.
We got plenty. We got plenty.
Okay, here's the thing. Often accepting me as I am and that's just the way I am are two different things. Because often a woman will come into a man's life thinking she's going to completely reshape him into something different. And at his core, depends on how he was brought up, depending on how he's worked, depends on his friends and every other criteria around him that makes him who he is. You're not going to walk into his life after 20, 30, 40, 50 years and all of a sudden make him something different. But again, as all of us have been saying, you're going to improve on him without him losing his identity. So if you come in, well, he's 6 feet, he has this, he has that, but if I can get him to do this, then he'll be who I want. Well, you need to be who you want, because if he's not already where you want him, trying to get him where you want him instead of helping together, again, mutual accountability. If you both are saying, hey, here's where we want to go, here's the level we want to get to, and you're both working on that, and you're both sacrificing, and you're both making adjustments, and you're both pursuing each other, because that's a whole nother subject. I'm sorry. But
No, you're good. You're good, Nate.
As long as he will adjust. We all been saying that same word. If a man wants you, if you are who he wants, if he's looking for a wife at the time, and that may be part of the thing too, a man's going to change based on what he's looking for. So if he's looking for a wife, then he's going to make adjustments so he can love her as Christ loves the church and be ready to sacrifice and give to her. If he's just looking for something to pass the time, don't expect a lot. So the door needs to be open, and there needs to be honesty up front. What is he looking for? And you'll know what to expect from him.
And gentlemen, is it safe to say that we are willing to adjust if we think she's worth it?
Absolutely.
I know that's dangerous.
Yep.
That might be dangerous to say, but
Absolutely.
Victor, go ahead, Victor.
I think anyone, it's not a male or female, behavior is learned. And if there's reinforcements with behavior, it will continue. That's human behavior in psychology. 101 that teaches us that. So it just depends if there's an incentive for anybody to make a change. If someone is a poor producer on the job, and the fact that they're on a performance improvement plan, that may get them to change behavior. It's the same thing in relationships. And so, because many times people are confusing identity with behavior, and that's totally different. It's not someone changing who you are, they're changing how you are, which how is the behavior, who is identity.
Right.
And so, it's what's the incentive, what's the buy-in? How do we approach it? We change people in a lot of different ways. It could be passive. It can be aggressive, assertive, direct, or indirect. It just happens every day. The weather changes us. We put on a coat. We don't, you know what I mean? So change, adjustment, they're all synonyms. And so it's being able to realize there are different motives to why we do what we do. And so, but it's like being able to realize the behavior, as they say, behavior takes 21 days for it to become a habit. Things sometimes repetition. And so someone may change something, but it's going to take a while for that behavior to get developed, for it to become a discipline or become a lifestyle. And so it's having to give people the grace to make mistakes. Somebody may have a motive that they're changing for the person, and that's not wrong. They may go back to other behavior because they've been doing the other behavior longer than the new behavior.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily positive and negative. That's just human interaction. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Tiffany Murphy says, no one should be anyone's project. We are looking for partners in life, not projects to build and perfect. Unfortunately, there are lots of folks who are looking for someone they can mold into their version of the perfect person. But that can only last for so long before the project reverts back to its core. It sounds like this young lady went through that.
Tiffany brought it up.
and that make me wonder, has anyone tried to change her at one point?
Oh boy.
That would be pretty interesting to find out, though. Ms. Olive says there is a saying that a man would change for a woman who will help him better himself. That is, if he's looking at her as a lifelong partner. I believe that when two people want and desire to. Okay. And Angela Madison says, maybe we think we can change a man to what we want. The change needs to be what God designs for him in his life and in the relationship. And here's another one. I saw another one. Just give me to it. Yeah, Tawanda. We can't change a man. We have to understand this, not force a man to be a certain way to accept him. Let a man be the man he is and get to know him so we can appreciate the man who want to get to know us. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you all this, and we're being honest though.
Okay.
Has there ever been a time that we tried to change a woman?
No.
Honestly,
I got two hands up.
Well, what do you say, Mike?
And I would say, well, if you only did this and you only did that, and I would get irritated because I thought it was just such a simple change. At least I thought it was a simple change, But then when the shoe is on the other foot, though, and they get agitated at me because I didn't do that simple change, then I said, okay. And like we said, we can't change a person. We might cause a change in a person, change their way of thinking to a degree. But like with anything else, a person, at least this is what I believe, a person will not change unless he or she wants to. Right. I think at the end of the day, and even the Lord doesn't force his will upon us. He gave us all our own volition and free will. At the end of the day, we're just going to have to want to change for ourselves, though. So,
okay, let me ask this.
Go ahead, Nathan.
When you said, have we tried to change a woman? What if she says she wants to do something and we want it more than she does? Is that us changing her? Or is that us pushing? Or what is that? What does that look like? Because if she says, I want to do this, whether it's lose weight, go to school, get a degree, get a different job. And we are more aggressive in getting her to that goal than she is. Are we changing her because we wanted more than her, or is that something else?
Well, I think it is to a degree encouragement, but then sometimes we have to be careful. And this is just my opinion, that we get so involved with that we start living vicariously through them. Like, go ahead and do this. You just that close. And don't let them tell us that they quitting. Oh, then all hell gonna break loose right there. No, you just that. You just a credit away from getting your masters. You just a few ounces away from to your ideal weight loss. You get to the point that it's you become obsessed with it. But that just isolated case. Like I said, that's just my humble opinion. Go ahead, Victor.
It's almost like when potty training a child is realizing that behavior, they're going to be in the process of that child learning how, and not that adults are children, but it's human behavior. In order for that behavior to become a habit, it's going to take repetition. And it's having to realize that you're going to have some setbacks at times. And so it's giving grace to the person and being realistic, having realistic expectations of the person as they evolve or progress in the change behavior. And that takes, it's something Keena, put out. It's that thing, you got to let that person work out their own soul salvation, because they got to do it at their pace. It's just like the child is doing the potty training. As much as you want them to do it, you can influence them. You can hold them accountable. You can influence. You can create an environment. But no two children or child is going to potty train at the exact same time. And it's having to realize that people grow different. And so there are different components to it. And it's like, creating that safe place for the person to grow. Doesn't mean that there's not going to, sometimes there's some things where there are going to be some consequences. There are some things where they just need grace. And so it's having wisdom and the Holy Spirit to be able to know how to minister to the person, serve that person, submit to them, come under the mission of another. If they're trying to do it, how can you come under their mission and help them, opposed to you taking over the mission? And so, that takes time and respect and boundaries and stuff like that. And, it's trial and error.
And you just made a good point. You say instead of you end up taking over the mission.
Right.
Instead of,
that's why I asked.
Yeah, instead of being you taking over. It's not just for Mike's lady friend. Now it's just for Mike. And that's it. So I get that. Jordan got a good question for the panel. Has anyone on the panel adjusted for a woman they wanted in their life? Can you give a specific example?
Not me.
I was looking at that question, Mike, when she posted it. So a couple of years ago, there was a woman I was interested in, and everything was going. We was talking and getting to know each other. Found out she had 2 children. One was 8 and one was 11 at the time. And so at that time, this was about 6 or 7 years ago, I was not interested in dating anyone with children. And so, because I was interested in the woman, I had to learn how to adjust and be concerned with not just the person I want to get to know, but the children as well, because they're a part of her life, So that adjustment was, I mean, it didn't end well, but but it helped me grow into the man I am today. And so going through that experience, you know, because she really didn't, even though she wanted to date and have a relationship, I put the effort in like if we wanted to go out to the movies or go do dinner, I had to find a babysitter for the children. And sometimes she was like, "Oh no, no, I can't go out tonight." But I'm like, "But I got a babysitter. We can go out." But because she has children, I had to adjust to that fact that not only that she is a mother, but she has children, so I have to adjust to that fact. So during that period, um, we're still friends today. I mean, she lives in Tampa, but at the same time, that helped me grow to where I am today, where even though I don't have any children, I'm dating for a purpose and I'm dating for marriage and things like that. And that experience is going to help me in the long run to anybody who do have children who I meet in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good one right there.
Yeah, Mike,
Uh,
can I jump in, Mike?
sure. Go
Um,
ahead, brother Ron.
my thing is that I've been reading the comments as well too, and we have to consider the makeup of individuals because I need to kind of backtrack a little bit. Asking have we ever changed for a situation? Now, the thing about change is that it may be a person that has, let's say, a people pleasing personality innately already within them. So they will, I think, be more willing to seek out some sort of change to accommodate a potential mate or, and the thing about that is that the negative of that is will we find ourselves being the enabler, so to speak, in a relationship where I always have to accommodate, where I always have to take a secondary seat, if you will, in the relationship to try to please my mate. And what I found is that this is just my experience, is that some women, if they take too much of the lead, that there may sometimes be some resentment because I'm looking for a strong man to take the lead. You know how women say that they've been independent for so long and the burden of taking care of so many different functions and activities in life has caused them a great deal of exhaustion. So it's a balance there. But I also see that if I'm not so set in my ways, I can see maybe the thin line between motivation and inspiration, as opposed to someone, feeling like they're trying to change me. If I'm looking at it from a positive perspective, I see this person is trying to look out for the betterment of my well-being, to help me grow, to help me prosper, as it's sort of somewhat been alluded to. But as far as trying to change another woman, I spent the majority of my life and years just trying to understand. I don't even have time or energy to try to control, because I'm not down in women, but there's so many different facets to women's personality. We just, for the most part, just trying to keep up, just trying to see where you at today. So I'm not trying to change because I don't want someone to try to change me. But if I see that there's an area where I feel like I can reinforce this individual's life in some way, I am going to try to, make it known. But then at the same time, I'm going to have a certain respect for boundary, where if I see that there's some resistance or pushback, that's enough to let me know that maybe this person is feeling a little bit of agitation, as if I'm trying to enforce my will on them and not respecting theirs. So I see this as a beautiful thing potentially in the positive, but in the negative, it can be destructive and it can ruin a relationship, because when people can't communicate their true understandings to one another, then that's when all kind of insecurities and indecisions can come in. And then after that, it's a ship blown up in the water.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
Hey,
Tawanda says, when you have God first in everything, things will go well. Whenever one party have issues, the two involved must stop and pray together to make the atmosphere better, and you both keep working together to make the relationship work if you both are serious with each other. And Doa Ismail, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. We've chatted before. My opinion, I see we both, man and woman, men and women, we need to accept each other the way we are, accept the good before the bad. I believe in our age, no one will be able to change a habit. With honesty, respect, love, best communication will be the best in the relationship.
mm.
Okay. With
Hey,
that,
Mike,
go
did you
ahead.
can you see Tiffany's post the question?
Yeah, bring that up.
We which one? Which one?
Uh, what if you have a habit that is really self-sabotaging?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a few shakes. It's
And
way up here to.
while Michael's looking at that, could I jump in on? I had to think back to the question about joy. Hey, asking us men, did we have to change? Did women have to change for their men? Yeah. Um, it took me a while. It took me a while to think about that, but I had to reverse back to my old relationship over five years ago. My mom, my she had wanted to have children at first. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have children, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't want to have children. I made it perfectly clear to any person out there, man or woman, that I didn't want to have children, and she kind of adjusted to that one. She kind of adjusted to the the way I express it. Not that I don't like children. I mean, just because I don't like children, just because I don't like them, doesn't mean I don't respect them anyway. And just because I respect them, doesn't mean I don't want to have kids of my own here. So, in that aspect, it's almost like me choosing from box A, box B, or box C, and you telling me to choose one. Uh, If I choose the box that I want, uh, listen, ladies, you can't tell a man to choose the box that you want him to choose. If he chooses box B or C, you can't make him go back to box A. Hey, and box A is something that you put in there. Yeah. I mean, come on. Hey, if box B says, let the woman choose, A, and you stick with B that has her as a vegan or as a sexy supermodel. But if C says, let the woman adjust to you, uh, then if the woman adjusts to you and how you feel, then if the woman loves that man and the way he is, then let him take his nature to a different course and take his nature to the same level that you want to take it.
Listen, Marcus. Uh, you ought to try being a vegan. It's pretty good though. It's
Not
pretty
happening.
good.
Not
Trust me.
happening. Mm-mm.
Not
Okay.
happening. Not
No.
happening.
Tiffany says, question.
Yeah.
What if you have a habit that is really self-sabotaging and the young lady that came in your life sees this through her different perspective and calls you on it? Do you take that as her trying to change you? Or would you be willing to explore her point of view?
Yeah, I responded to that because for me, that's where trust and accountability come in.
Mm-hmm.
She's in my life, I trust her. And if she sees something and calls me on it, yeah, my ego gonna be in check.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm taking that she wants what's best for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to listen, and in that case, yeah, I'm going to adjust because if I love her, I trust her. So I'm going to make the adjustment because I've probably seen it myself and just had nobody call me out on it.
Mm.
That would be enough to call me on it.
Right.
Mm. Okay.
And with certain men, I'll speak for myself. There's times where I'm just tunnel vision. This is what I do. This is where I go. I have a schedule, and this is how it is. And then maybe the woman down with it's like, hey, do you know you do this? And then I'll look back and I'm like, I never knew I did that.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that. And then I'll adjust and change my behavior in order to not only let her know that I am listening to her, but maybe that adjustment will help me in the long run to whatever I'm doing, as far as it may be at my job, it may be personal or anything like that. But yeah, if somebody, because some men have an ego and they don't want to be corrected. And that's an issue, because if they're with somebody and they have a problem, well, this is what I've always done. Okay, well, maybe what you always done is not the right thing to do. So if you have that person with you that says, hey, I've seen this and this is not a good thing. Won't you look at this issue or this problem? I think that's healthy in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. And there has been times that I met a good woman and she saw that I needed change, and grudgingly I went along with it, and it turned out for the best. I'm stubborn though, but hey, I'll be the first one to admit this though. But she helped me out, and it wasn't that she was trying to mold me into what she wanted me to be. She was just looking out for what was best for me. So hey, that's a good thing right there. Okay, we got a special request, Nathan.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Nathan.
Oh, this I gotta hear. Go ahead.
Come on,
Hit her
Nathan.
with
Wait, what?
it.
Go ahead,
Hit her
Jelly.
with it.
Wait, I can't stop laughing. Wait.
Look here, you know, whatever Jelly asked for, it is done. So you might as well go ahead.
Okay, this is somebody I don't know. So I'm just supposed to say good morning. That's it.
Good morning, Jelly. Have a
Good
great
morning,
day.
Jelly. Have a great day. In that voice of yours, whatever the voice you gave her.
I have no idea what it is. All right. Good morning, Jelly. Have a great day.
Oh, that just made her day right there.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, but y'all something else. Well,
hilarious.
as Sherry says, the responses are humble. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, of course, thank you so much. But these are the
Thank
men
you.
of SBC. So you shouldn't expect anything less, though. And with that said, it's a little after the top of the hour. And we are out of time, folks. We are out of time. That hour went by fast. Thank you so much. Let me get with these announcements. Coming up next at a quarter after the hour, we will have our after party. We will post the Zoom link up in the groups and in the page and the YouTube page, and just join us. And we may discuss this some more. May discuss what's on your mind. And we just chit chat. Then join us this Saturday. We have Saturday Night Social. It's an extended after party. We talk, play games, just chew the fat, and just have a good time there. And then next week, Lord's will, we start it all over again with another exciting edition of Tuesday Talk. Gentlemen,
It has been fun.
Nathan,
Wonderful.
Ron, and I hope you come back,
Yes,
Dwan, Victor, and Marcus.
You know I'll be there. You know I'll
It's
be
been fantastic. Y'all, this show wouldn't have been what it was without y'all 5 gentlemen. And I mean
Thank
that
you.
from the depths of my heart right there. Thank you all so much. And thank you all for watching. You know,
pleasure.
without y'all, this show wouldn't be anything. So thank
Hey,
you so
It
much.
would have been like the stock market. It would have been plummeted.
It was like,
Yeah. So thank y'all so much. Until next week and next time, good night, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye,
Good night.
y'all.
Good night. Good night.
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. You know, a lot of my brothers are dead or gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say? I hope they live to see a brighter day. And the ones that are doing fine, God bless you, 'cause you're doing fine. At the end of the day, don't forget about me. As days turn to weeks, and weeks turn to years, oh, I feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I still not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on, straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right, everything is tight. But somehow things started to change.